Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to a unboxing for Star Wars Villainous, Power of the Dark Side. So if you're not familiar with the Villainous series, it started off as a Disney game, and then they did a Marvel version, and now they're doing Star Wars. The overall concept of the game is you are playing as one of the villains in one of the various movies or franchises, and you are trying to complete their goal that they would have done, like in their movie. So like this game, for example, we have Darth Vader. His goal in the game was or in the movie was overall, and at least what they're doing for this one, is to convert Luke to the dark side. So that's what you're trying to do. We have 5 different characters from 5 different series. We have Darth Vader, who is going to kind of represent the original trilogy, episodes 4, 5, and 6. We have General Grievous, who's going to represent the sort of like the prequels, the Clone Wars, episodes 1, 2, and 3. Kylo Ren for 4, 5, 6, the sequels. I'm going to butcher names in here, so I apologize. We have Aja Ventress, who's going to kind of represent the Clone War era cartoons. And then finally we have Moff Gideon, who's going to be part of the Mandalorian. So each one's trying to do their different thing. The overall gameplay for each character plays the same. Plays the same as in the other Villainous games, so if you played that, you're very familiar with it. But each one has their own different missions, which is what makes them. So they all play very differently. One thing that's very unique about how the Villainous games work in general is, let's say we're playing a 5-player game, everyone's playing the thing, you each have your own board and your own deck of cards you're playing as, and you're kind of doing your own things with a very limited interaction. There are certain cards you can do to, like, affect other players, but for the most part, in the Star Wars and the Disney one, you don't directly interact with the other player's board. So Vader's not hopping through time to mess with Kylo Ren, or General Grievous isn't, existing up until the Mandalorian times and trying to mess with Moff Gideon. In the same way the Disney Ursula's not messing with Jafar, or Scar's not trying to, like, take out Prince John. The Star Wars one, or the Marvel one, works a little bit differently because they're all villains in a shared universe. So they do have interactions in that one where they go back and forth. The Star Wars one does also add some extra unique twists. So we're going to kind of just do a quick run through on the game. So each character is going to get a marker, their own regular deck of cards, their fate deck, which is like good guys that attack them. There's some special tiles, special tokens. Each has their own sector board you play as. And this setup's pretty easy. You have your regular deck, fate deck, you have your guide, your starting hand, and your board that you play on. Then during your turn, you have a bunch of different stuff you can do. So each turn you're going to move through your board, trying to collect items, perform actions, and complete whatever your different goals are. So on your turn, you're going to gain an ambition token, which lets you play special things. Now, this is a new one for the game. So most of the cards cost points to play. So they're going to have a little symbol at the top up there. So there's 3 with kind of like a cog type shape in there. That's going to cost 3 credits to play. So credits are going to be little tokens that look like chips. I like to name them a different shape. You gain ambition tokens, which are more hexagon and don't have the extra shape on. So you're going to have various characters that have cards that use ambition. I'm trying to find one that has one to show you what it looks like quick. Of course, now that I'm looking, I'm probably not going to find one right there. So, like, here we have one that's up in the top corner, showing that it uses credits. This one down below shows that it uses ambition. And they put it in a different spot on the cards just to help differentiate. So you're not trying, so you can quickly look at the different pictures and tell which ones you're doing. That's a new addition to the Star Wars game, is you're going to gain these ambition tokens every turn. These villains are going to gain more and more power, because unlike some of the other ones, these guys are trying to gain influences over little small areas to like push their thing forward. They're not, the only evil or the direct evil always in the story. Every turn you have to move your villain one space on the board, and then you can perform whatever actions are on there. You just can't move to the same space. So it does take a little bit of planning strategy to decide what you want to do in your turn. End of your turn, if you have less than 4 cards, you draw back up to 4. So you can play as many cards or discard cards depending on your actions as your turn will let you do. Then you always draw back up. And what's nice about drawing at the end of your turn is that now during your opponent's turn, you can kind of look at your hand and sort of strategize what you're doing while they're taking their turn. Because what they're doing on their board, you kind of want to pay attention to. So you see if they're getting closer to their goals, or if there's something you need to stop or attack them using special actions. But you also, then you're not spending your entire turn at the beginning of your turn only doing your thing. So different actions are going to be on the board. So let's grab one of these boards quick and take a look at them. So we're going to look at Moff Gideon's board here. So he has this big giant board, and then we open it up. And it's going to have various things. It's going to have an objective. So his objective is to capture and experiment on Groog. He has different areas he can go to in his sector. He has Navarro City, the Old Imperial Base, Tython, and the Bridge. And there's a special space order for Deep Space, which we'll get into in a minute. So on his turn, he has to move from one of these spaces, and he's going to get different actions. So if he lands on, he starts out, so if he moves to Navarro City here, he gets to gain 2 credits. So he gets credits to spend cards. He can play ambition abilities. So you can only spend ambition if you're on one of those special spots. Even though you're gaining ambition every turn, you have to be on one of those symbols to be able to play it. He has a symbol here for playing a card. So you can play a different card by paying its credit cost using that. And then he has a fate action. Or sorry, that's not a Vanquish action, which is what you fight. Which lets you help defeat defeat various heroes. And then each tile is going to be different. So like this one, you still have your credits and ambition and play a card, but now you have a movement ability. This one, you have your Vanquish, your draw, your credits, your play a card, and you have a discard ability. So you have a bunch of cards aren't in your hand. You can get rid of them to draw new cards. And then the last one, you don't have any way to gain credits, but you have your discard, your ambition, your play a card, and your fate, which lets you play cards against opponents. Now, every character is going to have a different board. So not everyone's going to have the exact same setup there, which also makes that very unique. So it's like if I play Moff this game, and the next play I play Darth Vader, he's going to have different stuff. So then we have that, just showing you can play ambition cards or use ambition abilities if you're on them spots. This does a very good job of explaining this book, explaining how stuff is. You can play cards, whether it's something that's like an effect card, which does a one-time thing, goes away. It could be an ally card that stays out. You have maneuver, which lets you now move your allies around. Maybe you play them to one spot, but now you need to move them to attacking enemies somewhere else, or you need to move them for the sake of another thing. Discarding, to get rid of cards you don't need anymore, so that way you can draw more. I have 2 credits and all my cards cost 4. I may as well discard them, or discard some of them. Or I have 3 of the same copy of the same card. I don't need all of them. Or maybe you're looking for a specific card, like, I need this card to get this, to defeat this person. Like, if I have to have, like, I need a stormtrooper out so I can help defeat one of the heroes I'm fighting. You might have to discard cards so that we can redraw. That's the only way to generally get more cards. Activating regular abilities, and then Vanquish. Now you notice this activate icon did not show up on any of Moff's cards. That means on his board. So that means he doesn't have any abilities in his deck that are going to activate. The only things that are ever, I think, always going to be on there is you're always going to have play a card, discard a card, and the fake action, and then I think gain credits. I think those are the only 4 that you're going to always have. At least one instance. Some might have more than others. Vanquish lets you fight a hero. So this is just showing if I have allies that have 4, 1, and 1 power, they can defeat a hero of 5. So basically, I discard my 5 points to defeat their 5-point hero. And that's why moving stuff around. And then Fate is a fun mechanic, which we'll get into later. It lets you play heroes against your opponents. So then, yeah, just a couple other things here. We have Strength. So you basically can have the Strength is how much power the +1 and -1 tokens you can give your characters. Villain cards have all their various costs. Costs is credit or ambition, name, ability, strength, and the card type. So there are various card types. There are allies. One thing I love about this game also is that the card types, even though all the cards look the same, they give the different names down here in different colors. So allies are red. So now if I'm playing an ally here, and I have this item card which says place it on an ally, it says ally in red, so I know to play the red card with the red card. Or if it says just find an item, it knows I have to find a blue card. They made, or this one says orange for hero, lets me know that that's an orange card. The little color-coded things are really nice because it can help players, maybe a little younger players, or just people aren't into gaming as much. You can say, yeah, it's the card with the blue on the bottom. I love that idea. So item cards are various things you'll attach to various characters, or they might just stay in the field. Effect cards are green. They're one-time use generally. You play them, they go away. Conditions are fun special abilities that they don't have a cost. They activate when another player is doing something, which also wants you to focus on what other players are doing. So like one of them could be like, if your opponent plays an ally, you may play a condition and now you get to draw 2 cards, or you get X credits, or you can also play an ally for free. So you can kind of also gauge that depending on who you're playing against. If your condition has to do with if an opponent vanquishes a hero, you can play a card for free. Well, if the player you're playing against doesn't have any reason to be vanquishing, that's not their goal, then you might just discard the card and not use it. Now, in a game like this where it's 5, not that big of an issue. If you're playing like the Disney one where there's like close to 20 characters now, you're going to run into a lot more issues like that where you could come across fighting a character that doesn't have to do stuff. Then the new cards are vehicles, which go to your deep area sector, and then they basically give you an extra set of icons to use, which are really fun as well. And we'll go over some of that right now. We have the vehicle section. This is a brand new one, so I want to spend a little bit extra time on this. So you play your ally vehicles, either their cost or ambition, depending on what they are. They go into your last area. Ally vehicle has new locations you may move to. So it gives you a 5th area to go to, which is really fun. And then you may take an ability that just a new location has actions you may take, and ability to trigger immediately move your villain to that area. So not only you get new actions to take, you also get an extra special ability just for going there. So they're in your sector. They're in your sector. They're not considered adjacent to any other location. So some things can't be affected by them. You can't move like other allies and stuff there. So now if these white cards, which are your fate cards, which are the heroes, if they play 1 to that area, you reduce your hand size by 1. So this is Darth Vader's board. If someone plays an X-Wing to his deep space, he has to lose 1 card. So instead of gaining that extra tile space and extra things, he actually has less cards in his hand now. But now you can play an ally card either on there to stop that, or if you have one that's already on there and they interact, basically all that does is it blocks your cards. So if you have your vehicle out and they play a hero card on top of it, your card's just ignored. Nothing happens either way. And you can play a Vanquish action to get rid of both of them and kind of start over. Or you can, if they just play their card, then you lose a hand size. What's also really fun, though, is this maneuvering vehicles aspect. If there is an X-Wing on top of my Interceptor, or my Executioner as it would be on this one, I can move it away. I can suffer that minus hand size, but I get access to the card to use. So that is a really neat idea, because it's not just like, oh, I have to vanquish it and get rid of it. You can move it and take the reduced power and do it. So there's just some more different things there, and there's that. Alright, we spent enough time going through all that, so we're going to look at our characters and our components of the cards. So first up, we're going to have reference cards, which just remind you of what each of these tokens mean. It's just simply just very brief, just you sit there, you know what they are. And then on the back, there's one for each player here, so we got 6 of them, or 5 of them. It just gives you an idea of what each character must do. So that way, if you're playing against another player, when you're playing against another player, you can read and see what each character has to do. It gives them a little description. So you have some idea what everyone's doing. So now we've already looked at Moff Gideon's board. So we're going to just take a little bit deeper look at his stuff. Another fun thing you're going to get for every character is this villain guide. And this is a great thing they also made. So this is going to explain what your objective is. So like Moff Gideon's objective is to capture and experiment on Groog. To win, Moff Gideon must have Groog, Dr. Perishing, laboratory samples in play. Groog must be on the villain side of your sector, and all 3 cards must be in the same location. At that point, you must pay 5 ambition to achieve your objective. So, like, on his board, it just says a super capture experiment on Groog. That's your basic idea. Then here it actually explains how you have to do that, what you have to have to do all that. And then I'm not going to read through all of this stuff, but it explains how you can, where Groog's at, how to find him and get him on your side, how to capture him. Other thing you can do when he's taken, when he gets rescued. And then your Darksaber, your special card to kind of keep up for. It explains for each character, like, how to achieve the goal, how to use some of the cards. So that way, like, someone could pick this up, kind of read through this briefly, and have some idea of how to play this deck, versus sitting down, having no idea what the heck they're doing. And then we have our 2 different decks. So we have the darker colored one, which matches the character and the board, and then we have the light colored one. And then we have the miniature. These miniatures are very, very cool. Like, the Disney ones and Star Wars one, or Marvel ones are also really neat. Little box here, I'm going to set this on. Yeah, so they're kind of like translucent, a color to kind of represent their color. There's just be simplified versions of the character or aspects of them. So what's neat about the Star Wars ones is, and sorry about my, like, hands here, but, they each have their lightsaber or weapon. So he has the dark saber there, and it kind of just shows like this chest piece. And on the back, he has like the Maskers. And I have not seen any of the Mandalorian, so I know nothing about this character or any of this stuff other than things I read. I also love the backs of the cards. They show off some of the different things in the game. So here's like, there's clearly him at the top. There's some, I think those are Death Troopers. Probably his ship. There's a Darksaber. There's a different TIE Fighter. There's just some of the different aspects of the game. Alright, so we're going to look at his cards. So he's got 4 copies of Dark Troopers. Cost 3, 5 health, ally. I'm not going to read all those, but just says, for an activation cost, you can pay 0. If Groog is in, and no other heroes are at this location, move Groog to the villain side of your sector. So these guys can capture Groog if no one's around. He has 2 copies of Stormtroopers. They have no additional abilities, just very simple guys to work with. He's got the Client. This location gains using Ambition ability. Spend 2 Ambition to reveal cards from your deck, and you could reveal a Beskar. Play it for free. So that's fun, because now you could add this to like one of them locations that doesn't have one, or if you're already on that location, you could give it a second one, so now you can play 2 of those abilities. Dr. Perishing. If Moff Gideon is at Dr. Perishing location, the cost to play Dark Troopers is reduced by 1 credit. 2 copies of Death Troopers. Who have maneuver Death Troopers to a new location, so they get to move around for free. Those are different allies. What also makes this game fun, the Villainous games in general, is that it's not every deck has 5 allies, 3 items to this. Everyone has different emotes based on what they have. Some guys might not have any allies. Some guys might not have items. Some guys might have 10 items. Every deck is built differently. The same size, same number of cards, but have different structures on what they have. We have Darksaber. Attach Darksaber to an ally if that ally is defeated. Leave Darksaber at that location. The first hero or ally that at the location attaches Darksaber adds the +1 strength token to it. Groog cannot attach or use Darksaber. We have 3 copies of the Beskar attached to an ally. You can remove it to play any card from your hand for free. That's crazy. Or pay 4 to remove it to find and play Groog to the hero side of your sector, so you can find him when you need him. Then they have the vehicles, which they gave a little bit different border, which is really nice, helps them stand out. So you have the Outland TIE Fighter, which adds an ambition, a move, and a Vanquish action. Reveal cards from your fate deck until you reveal a hero. Play that hero to any hero and give them -1 strength. And we have the Imperial Star Cruiser. Either drop to 5 cards at the end of your turn or gain 1 ambition immediately. So when you move there, you get to use those abilities. Then we have another item. Laboratory samples. This location gains ambition. Spend 5 if Moff Gideon, Groog, and Dr. Perishing are in this location. On the villain side of your sector, you win the game. You only get 1 copy of this, 1 copy of Dr. Perishing, 1 copy of Groog. So I'm going to hunt down all 3 cards and get them all to do the same thing. It's going to take some planning. We have Captured. Find and play Groog to any location on the villain side of your sector. Then he's got 3 conditions. Long live the Empire. During their turn, if another player just takes a discard action, you may play Long Live the Empire, reshuffle your discard pile into your villain deck, and gain 1 ambition. So if you've lost them 1 cards, you can use this as a free way to shuffle your deck up quicker rather than having to run through it. We have 2 copies of You Have Something I Want. Reveal cards from your fate deck until you reveal a hero. Play that hero to any location in your sector. 2 copies of The Kids Just Fine. If Groog is on the villain side of the sector, move him to location with a Dark Trooper. 2 copies of Me and the Kid Will Survive. All heroes in your sector gain -1 strength. And then finally, we have another condition. We have 3 copies of Experimentation. During their turn, if another player spends ambition, you may play Experimentation. Give each Dark Trooper in your sector +1 strength. Now, this might, I have it sitting in my hand. If I don't have any Dark Troopers, this might be a card you get rid of. One other thing I really want to point out about this is the artwork on here. And sorry if it's hard to see because I sleeved all my cards. But these are all redrawn images. Not just stuff taken from the show. And that's really crazy because they could have just used screen caps for all this different stuff. But they redrew, and some of these look like they could have been straight up, from a screen cap, depending on which artist did which artwork. Alright, so then we're going to look at his fate deck, which has the exact same back, but they're white. So now these are going to be heroes. Heroes do two things. They're going to mess up your board, and you have to sometimes defeat them. So when a player plays a fate action, they draw 2 cards from the fate deck, from your fate deck. So if I'm playing Vader, and I fate Moff Gideon, oh crap, he's getting close to getting Groog out. I need to play something to get rid of him, or stop him, or slow him down. You land on a fate icon. You draw 2 cards from that whoever player you're attacking, essentially, or you're fating. You draw 2 cards from their deck and you play one of them. So, like in this example, if I drawn the Mandalorian and self-protection, I could decide which one works better. Do I want to play the hero, or do I want to play the effect? So it gives you different options to play. If you play a hero card, what they do is you place them on these parts on the board. They have like the top part, which is kind of like a little bit shaded. They play over this, and now they cover it up. So now if I go to the old Imperial base, Moff Gideon only gets the bottom 2 effects until he defeats the Mandalorian. So that's one of the big aspects of fading and how you kind of attack the other players and mess with their boards. Is you play hero cards to their board, which are going to then shut down their spots. And if I play 2 or 3 heroes to the same spot, they have to defeat each one to get to that area. So that's definitely fun. Plus, some of the effects are also going to screw up the way their decks work. So here we have, like, the Mandalorian. If the Mandalorian gets +2 strength if Groog is at his location, Groog may be on either the hero or villain side of the board. So if he plays in the same sector, up and down, he's going to be 6. He's that much harder to defeat. And then, of course, we have Groog. When Groog is revealed in the Fate action, you must play him immediately to a location with another hero. If no other hero is played, discard both Groog and the other Fate card drawn. Groog cannot be defeated, removed, or targeted, or vanquished, or with a Vanquish action. So it makes this really fun, because you might have been worried, like, well, I don't want to fade him because he needs Groog out. What if I accidentally draw him? This basically shuts that down, unless there's someone there to protect him. We have Bo-Katan Kairis. If the Darksaber is in play when Bo is played, Moff Gideon loses 2 ambition. Fennec Shang. When performing a Vanquish action to defeat Fennec, at least 2 allies must be used. So now, if you have a guy that's a 5 and a guy that's a 1, you have to spend both of them. You can't just beat him with the 5. Kosaka Reeves. If the Darksaber is in play when Kosaka is played, Moff loses 1 credit. Then we have some ally vehicles. Razor Crest. When Razor Crest is played, you may move a hero to any location. And Captured Imperial Shuttle. When Captured Imperial Shuttle is played, discard the top 4 cards of Moff's deck. We have 2 copies of I Am Programmed to Protect. All heroes in Moff's sector gain +1 strength. May the Force be with you, which is fun because this is in every single villain's fate deck. All allies in Moff's sector get -1 strength. The Bounty. Remove 1 Beskar from Moff's sector. So if you draw this and he doesn't have a Beskar out, you're not going to play this one. And there's times you might not play any cards out of a fate. You just might get a bad hand. This is the other brand new mechanic in the game, restriction cards. So besides the allies, the ambition and the deep space vehicle concept, they added restriction cards in the fate deck. So these are kind of like hero versions of that conditions. This is Unexpected Help. When Unexpected Help is played, defeat all ally in Groog's location. No allies may be played or maneuvered in Groog's location. Groog is moved to the hero side of the sector in that location. Remove this card when you take a Vanquish action. So this comes in, it stays in play until you play a Vanquish action to get rid of it. And that's what makes these restriction cards kind of a pain in the ass. And then we have the effect. We have the Jedi. Move any Dark Troopers at Groog's location. Move Groog to any location in the hero's side of the sector. Return effect. Swap the return effect for up to 2 hero cards from the Fate deck discard pile. Play both those heroes to any location in the sector. And self-protection. Move Groog to any location with no allies present. Groog must remain in the same side of Moff Gideon's sector. So you can move anywhere on the top or anywhere on the bottom. Alright, so that's our Fate cards for Moff. That is his deck. Alright, let's jump into our next character. Before I do that, we're going to show off, we have this. I didn't show this off yet. This is our little tray for holding all our things. You have our credits in here, which is a little bit overflowing right now, but you're going to give people starting amount of credits. You have our ambition tokens and our +1, -1 counters. So the previous ones only had one type of counter, so they only had one central. This is the first time it had 3. I think Marvel started adding +1, -1 counters, but they didn't make a big deal of it. Alright, up next we have Asaja Ventress, and I'm probably mispronouncing her name. She says, the Jedi in their orders of fading light in the dark, corrupt and arrogant, they must be punished, the Jedi shall fall. So she has complete 3 missions, is hers. She gets to go to Teth, Dathomir, Camino, and the Coruscant level 1312. You can see all her different actions she has. So she has a couple different Fate actions. She has like 2 of them. She has ambition in every single sector. But now, like, she only has credits in Camino and Teth, where Moff had it in 3 different areas. Yeah, so they have different things in different areas. And then, of course, she has her deep space sector over there. So now, how do her mission cards work? She has a special setup. She gets a special deck of mission cards, indicated by a darker color, and she shuffles them up and she has to beat them. Completing missions, she just has to complete them by doing various things on them. She has assassination tools. I'm not going to read through all of these. She has some her different vehicles and infiltration. So what her different cards look like. So we have our regular deck, our mission deck, and our Fate deck. And now there are 5 different mission cards. You have to defeat 3 of them. So you're not going to always have the exact same ones every time. Let's look at her mission cards first. And then we'll just see. So they're going to be laid out a little bit differently. So we have Stinky. So what you do is you have to, you play these and they get an activation thing, like a reset thing, which is the first one. It's kind of like you get to where you need to do to beat it. And then you have 3 progress tokens you have to get by beating stuff. Like you play some mission tokens. So every time you defeat Anakin, defeat Ashka, or have Count Dooku play, you'll put a token on to show you've beaten one of them. The only reward, you gain all 3 ambition tokens. Otherwise, it says, find Anakin and Asha, place them in different locations. So if, like, for some reason, you have this mission out, and those guys have been defeated or removed, and you haven't, or they've been removed, or you haven't found them yet, maybe someone didn't play them during a fake action, they discarded them, you can now play this top ability to gain them. We have Ambush. Find Master Yoda and 2 clone troopers and place them in different locations and then defeat the 3 of them. The Rescue. Find Ashka Tano and 1 clone trooper, place them in different locations. So you only need to defeat 2 of them, but you only get 2 ambition tokens. The Witches. Look at the top 5 cards of your villain deck, place them back in any order. Have Mother Talzin in play, have at least 1 Night Sister in play, have Savage Opress in play, and play home. And then finally, we have Clone DNA. Find Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Place them in different locations in your sector, defeat Anakin and Obi-Wan, and have a villain vehicle in play. So a couple different ones to do. She's all about defeating people. And here's her marker. So purple, she got double lightsabers on her back. Definitely cool. The mixture, the different colors in there is interesting. It's something new. Alright, her allies, we have Count Dooku. When Count Dooku would be discarded in the Vanquish action, you instead may put him in your hand. Pay 2 ambition, look at the top 2 cards of your mission deck, return them to the top in any order. Mother Talzin. Select any number of Night Sisters in your sector. Pay that many ambition, each Night Sister gains +1 strength. And we got 4 copies of the Night Sisters. When Night Sisters is played, gain 1 ambition and gain 1 ambition for every other ally in this location. So if you group them together, you're going to gain big bonuses. Savage Oppress. When Savage would be discarded from a sector, you may discard another ally from this location instead. Our vehicles, we have the Banshee. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put 1 into your hand, discard 1, and put the other on the bottom of your deck. And the Trident. Place 1 random card from your discard pile into your hand. Assassin's Trail. Defeat all clone troopers in your sector. Gain 1 credit for each clone trooper defeated using Assassin's Trail. And we have 3 copies of a condition called Tactics. During your turn, if another player moves a vehicle to a vehicle location, you may play Tactics. Draw 3 cards in your hand, then discard any 3 cards from your hand. It's kind of fun. 2 copies of Home. Play 1 Night Sister from a discard pile to Dampmere for free. 3 copies of this condition, The Power of Sidious. During their turn, if another player discards 1 or more cards, you may play The Power of Sidious. Draw a card from your villain deck equal to the number of cards discarded. 2 copies of Dark Apprentice. Select an ally or vehicle that is not in Asajj's location. You may perform 1 available action at their location. You do not perform the Dark Apprentice until you perform fake actions. This is actually fun because then you can use extra abilities from an area you're not in, so it helps to kind of spread some of your guys around. 2 copies of Infiltration. Move her to any location with a fake card and end your turn. Before she moves on your next turn, defeat all fake cards' actual location. Then take your turn as normal at your current location. So basically spending extra turn, but you get to kill anybody you need to. And when lots of her cards are defeat this guy, defeat that guy. This could be a very great card. And then she has 3 copies of You Have Nothing I Want. Select a card type, reveal your deck until you reveal a card of that type. Put that card in your hand, discard the rest. You may perform a play card or ambition action. So sweet. That is hers. And then we got her Fate deck, which we didn't actually look at the back of her card very much. There's her picture on the top with dual lightsabers. A mask there, who I'm not sure what that mask is. That might just be... Yeah, I'm not really sure what that's a mask for, to be honest. I don't know some of the Star Wars stuff. There's her ship, the Banshee, and then there's like a foresty area. It's probably where she lives. Alright, let's see what we have to fight against. Of course, we have a Shakoa Tano. When she's played, you lose 2 credits or 2 ambition. We have Anakin. Allies at Anakin's location gain -1 strength. Obi-Wan Kenobi. All of your ambition, action, and abilities are increased by 1. Master Yoda. When he's played with the top 4 cards of your deck, discard 1, return the rest to any order. 4 copies of Clone Troopers. When they're played to a location with another hero, Clone Troopers gain +1 strength. Obi-Wan Starfighter. When it's played, move all heroes in your location to any location. Twilight. When it's played, all heroes in the sector gain 1 strength. Heroes played at sector gain 1 strength. May the Force be with you. Reveal cards from your fate deck and to reveal a hero or vehicle. Play that card and discard the rest. You have failed me. You must reveal your hand, choose 2 cards, and discard them. 2 copies of We Have You Now. Move any number of heroes to your location, and then our restriction is strange alliances. You cannot perform Vanquish actions. Remove 2 allies from your sector to remove strange alliances. So interesting. Alright, so that's her. She has a little mission she has to do. Definitely fun and different. Alright, then we're going to keep going backwards in time. We're going to look at our friend Kylo Ren here. So this will be our, excuse me, our prequel trilogy, our sequel trilogy, sorry, 8, 9. So he's got his lightsaber at the hilt guard, of course he's got his mask, all that, definitely neat little thing there. Kylo Ren says, Zuma, let the past die. Kill it if you have to. It's the only way to become what you were meant to be. Objective, commit to the dark side of the Force. Now, the thing to note with all of these, with all the villains, is this is stuff that they're trying to do throughout the movie. It's not necessarily things that they had 100% accomplished. It's like the thing, like, they did, like, what their goal was in the movie. It's like what they probably did, like, 99% of, and then the hero stopped them at the end. So here we can go to Dakar. We got Krayt, Snoke's chamber, and the Emperor's throne room. And now you can see here, he's got, like, 1 credit, 3 credit, 1 credit. Couple of different other areas. He doesn't have any movement abilities. Now, if you notice that, he's got Vanquish, draw, discard, ambition, draw, fate, Vanquish, double play cards, ambition, but he has no way of moving cards around. So whether that's a factor that he has to work around or not, like the other guys need to like get Groog together or get guys to defeat them. He doesn't need to do that. So he's got a little bit different stuff. Special setup. Place a Destiny tracker to the left of your sector. Next to your portrait, place 6 Destiny tokens in the neutral zone. So he's got light side, dark side, and the neutral zone. And there's just the back of his cards. And he's got little Kylo Ren tokens. Double-sided Kylo Ren. He's got 6 of them. So that's what he's trying to do, is get everything, move these tokens from the one side, from the middle down to the dark side, and not up to the light side. So various things to move your cards around. Which kind of shows him going back and forth. So it's Destiny Ambition. When Kylo Ren defeats any hero, move the Destiny token towards the dark side. Kylo Ren must use Ambition to move Destiny tokens towards the dark side. All cards that move his Destiny tokens require Ambition. So he's got to focus on that. Destiny Fate. Some Fate cards like Rey come home and every word you say was wrong. Move towards the light sign. Decide which Destiny tokens move. Yeah, so basically you can move them up one spot or however you need to move them. And gaining Ambition. There's different stuff to gain Ambition. So that's his thing. Gain Ambition, move the tokens. He's probably maybe one of the easier characters. You usually have one character that's a lot easier to play, one that's a little bit trickier. I'm not really sure which is which at this point right now. Let's look at the back of his card. We didn't really look at that yet. So he's got his helmet there, plus 6 other helmets, which are probably just various other things helping him out. Various troopers. He's got Throne Room, Death Star. I think it's like, might be the either back of the Emperor's throne, or it's the window to the Millennium Falcon. I'm not for sure. I think it's the back of the throne room, though. Yeah, definitely interesting. Alright, so that's what we got. We got 1, 2, 3 copies of the First Order Stormtroopers. We get some more Stormtroopers. So, the masks were probably these guys right here, the Knights of Ren. I haven't finished watching this series, the last movie, so I don't know what all this stuff is. Knights of Ren is used to defeat a hero in a Vanquish action. Gain ambition equal to the strength of that hero. We have Supreme Leader Snoke. Plays 1 Destiny token on the dark side. First Order Officers. This location gains moves. This is how he gains his move. He has to play this, and now he can move stuff around. We have some effects here. We have Palpatine's Legacy. Shuffle your discard pile into your deck. Draw 5 cards. Definitely helpful. Vehicle, we have Command Shuttle. You may reveal cards from your Fate deck until you reveal a hero. Place that hero in any location. And the Supremacy gives us our other move action. Choose an ally from your discard pile and put them into your hand. 2 copies of the Power of the Dark Side. Gain ambition equal to the number of Destiny tokens on the dark side. 2 copies of I Will Give You So Much More. Draw 3 cards from your villain deck. 2 copies of The Last Days of the Republic. Attach The Last Days of the Republic to your vehicles. When you disengage from a hero vehicle, you do not reduce your hand size. 2 copies of We Have What We Need. With the top 4 cards of your Fate deck, discard 1 and return the rest to the top of your Fate deck in any order. 3 copies of a condition. I Can Take What I Want. During your turn, if another player gains 1 or more credits, you may play I Can Take What I Want to gain that many ambition. So this is kind of an interesting one, because it's going to come up very often. But now do you do it when they activate a 2, or do you wait until they go for a 3? You know, kind of a thing. 2 copies of Your Sun Is Gone. Either gain 1 ambition or gain 3 ambition and move a Destiny token towards the light side. 3 copies of Sith Legacy. Move a Destiny token towards the dark side. Power and Fear. Move 2 Destiny tokens towards the dark side. Long Live the Supreme Leader. Choose a card type, reveal from your deck until you find a card of that type. Put it in your hand. And finally, 3 copies of this condition, Crushing Hope. During their turn, if another player takes a Fate action against you, you may play Crushing Hope. You only reveal and play the top Fate card against you. So it's kind of neat because it limits what they have options for. Alright, then what are our Fate cards? Of course, we're going to get Rey. When Rey is played, move all Destiny tokens towards the light side. Luke Skywalker. When it's played, move all allies in play to Luke's location. When performing Vanquish actions to defeat Luke, must use at least 2 allies to be used. Poe Dameron. When he is played, removing ally vehicle from Kylo Ren's sector. Leia Organa. When she is played, he loses all ambition. Han Solo. When he's played, place a Destiny token in the neutral area of the Destiny tracker. The Millennium Falcon. When it's played, find Han Solo and play him to any location in the sector. Black One. When Black One is played, remove ally of the lowest strength from Kylo Ren's sector. 2 copies of Come Home. Move 1 Destiny towards the light side. May the Force be with you. Reveal the top 2 cards of Kylo Ren's Fate deck. Play 1 and discard the other. 2 copies of Every Word You Said Was Wrong. Play 1 Destiny token and on the light side, and move 1 Destiny token towards the light side. 2 copies of There Has Been an Awakening. Choose and play a hero from Kylo's Fate deck. Discard pile. That hero gains +1 strength. And our restriction is Heart and Strength. Find and play Rey Kylo cannot move destiny tokens towards the dark side until Rey is defeated. Pay 4 ambition to remove heart and strength. So either he has to defeat Rey, and then he can do stuff, or he has to pay 4 to remove this restriction. Which he's trying to collect ambition, so removing 4 is not the best for him. Alright, so that was his. Up next, we have General Grievous. So it's the back side of his car. We've got like his spiky wheel car. He's got 4 lightsabers. He's got his drones. His clone droid army. Here's his token. It's a big giant version of his head. And then 4 lightsabers on the back. I like that one. Alright, so what does General Grievous have to do? Alright, we'll zoom back out a bit. I will deal with this Jedi slime myself. Collect 8 lightsabers. So he gets to go to the lair of Grievous. Salu Kamalai, Forum, and Atapu. And then Deep Space, of course. So he's got, a bunch of different actions are all spread out. Again, you'll notice he has 1 movement. He gets his 2 fade, he gets a couple ambition. Not maybe as many ambition as the rest, but he gets more credits than other guys. Just to play a card in every sector no matter what. Then we're going to have little lightsaber tokens. So I have 8 of those to keep track of. Special setup. Uncollected lightsabers, and then you put them on top of his character as you collect them. Fast way to collect lightsabers to defeat heroes. When General Grievous defeats a hero, he collects a lightsaber. And he gets so many different ways. You can capture guys. A ruthless leader. He's got droids, of course, a bunch of different droids, and the heroes that fight back. So he's got a bunch of different stuff there. Alright, let's look at his deck, see what fun stuff we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of B1 battle droids. Gain +1 strength for each other ally at their location. So by themselves, they're completely useless. But once they start gaining up, they can gain better. So if you have 2 of them together, now they each have 2 strength. If you have 3, they each have 3 strength. And that's just if they're combined with each other. 2 copies of B2 Super Battle Droids. When they would be discarded in a Vanquish action, you may pay 1 ambition to keep them in play instead. 3 copies of BX Droid Commandos. A BX Droid Commando would be discarded. The Vanquish action, you may put them in your hand instead. So you're going to reuse these droids a lot. 2 copies of the Magna Guard. Heroes cannot be moved or maneuvered from their location. And 2 copies of the Droidekias. When performing a Vanquish action, you may pay 1 ambition to move them to a location of that action. They must be used in that action. Next one is they turn the ball and they roll. And then we have Gore. When Gore is in play, gain 1 ambition. When Gore is used in a Vanquish action, gain 1 ambition. We have a ship. We have the Soulless one. Draw 2 cards. And we have the Malevolence. Remove 2 allies, then defeat a hero. So 2 copies of Count Dooku's Orders. Reveal a card from your deck including reveal an ally. Play that ally for free to any location from your sector. Reveal cards from your fate deck including reveal a hero. That hero to any location. Add to my collection. Just collect 1 lightsaber. So now, cards like this is what you have to worry about in these games. Like these ones where you have to collect, or like Kyle having to move a guy up. Move his influence up, because you might look at somebody else and be like, oh, well, he has to defeat a guy to gain that lightsaber. He doesn't have any droids out. But I could just play this and add 1. So if I'm 1 away, you always have to assume that I have this card waiting to go. Especially if I do a discard action. 3 copies of this condition, trained in the Jedi arts. During their turn, if another player targets you with a fate action, you may play this card. They do not reveal cards from the fate deck, but instead must play a hero from the fate discard pile. 3 copies of Escape Plan. Either play an ally or a vehicle for free, or remove a hero vehicle. 2 copies of Motivational Tactics. Remove an ally from your sector, either gain 2 ambition or 2 credit. And then 3 copies of our other condition, Hunting Jedi. During the turn, if another player plays a card action, you may play Hunting Jedi. Reveal cards from your fate deck. Till you reveal a hero, play that hero to any location in your sector. So this is one of the ones that's interesting, because he needs to collect these lightsabers, but to do it, he needs to attack heroes. So fading him does limit spaces on his board, but he also gives him more heroes to fight. So this is kind of like the Disney version. You had Scar was sort of like this. You had to defeat so many heroes to win. So who are our allies? We're fighting Kit Fisto. As played, you may move all heroes to any location. When he is defeated, collects 1 additional lightsaber. Anakin Skywalker. When he is played, defeat all allies in his location. Obi-Wan Kenobi. When he is played, remove an ally vehicle from your sector. Plo Koon. If he is played, you may move all allies in a location to another location in your sector. Mace Windu. When he is played, all allies in his sector gain -1 strength. Ashka Tano. Each time another player hero is played to General Grievous' sector, she gains +1 strength. When she's defeated, he gains 1 extra lightsaber. The Delta 7 Jedi Starfighter. While in play, General Grievous must play with his hand revealed. So you'll know if he has that card. The Negotiator. When engaged with another vehicle, the Negotiator blocks all that vehicle's abilities as well as actions. May the Force be with you. All heroes in General Grievous' sector gain +1 strength. Oh, we actually get 2 copies of that. You usually only get 1 copy of the Force. We have Captured. Remove 1 lightsaber from General Grievous. Put it back into the uncollected pile. Under Repair. When Under Repair is played, General Grievous must immediately discard down to 2 cards. He may only draw up to 2 cards in his turn, pay 6 credits to remove Under Repair. So that's his restriction. 2 copies of Retreat. Choose up to 4 strength of allies in your sector. Remove them. Cannot affect Gore. And finally, Expose. General Grievous loses up to 1 ambition and play up to 2 credits. Alright, so that was General Grievous. Just collecting lightsabers, so I think he's probably one of the easier guys to play. With Kylo maybe being second. At least out of the 4 that we've looked at. With Ventress and Gideon kind of being like maybe top. Alright, so our final villain is of course Darth Vader himself from the original trilogy. You underestimate the power of the dark side. If you will not fight, then you will meet your destiny. So our object is to defeat Luke Skywalker. So you just go to Mustafar, the Death Star, Cloud City, and the Emperor's Throne Room. So he's going to definitely have some interesting stuff there. So now, one thing I'm going to point out for all these guys, they all have 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And I think this is because it's a base set. I think Marvel may have did the same thing, and Disney, of course, did that. But then as later sets came out and the game had been expanded more, they had some guys that maybe had 3 on the bottom or 3 on the top, or they had different locations that were locked to begin with, and they had extra different stuff. So I think they added enough other new concepts. They didn't want to do any of that, but so he's cool. So he's got ambition in 3 spots. He's got 1 movement, play a card in 3 different areas, getting some different credits. Nothing super different. They only have so many different actions. So what Darth Vader have to do? He has to defeat Luke Skywalker. So he's gonna get this special token card. Says Skywalker conflicted. So when a hero is defeated, move Skywalker one location towards the throne room. And now he's kind of cool because he's a hero, but he's also listed as a Jedi. So he's got two different subtypes there. And then the other side is focused. Heroes at Luke's location cannot be targeted by Vanquish actions. So he's got a double-sided there. So you start off, plays Luke above the Death Star on the hero side, does not block action. So he doesn't cover your actions, but he does kind of sit around there. He's classified as a Jedi, is not affected by cards that affect heroes. So he stays yellow, so you know that he's that side of the board, that type of stuff, but he's not actually a hero. Well, he's conflicting and move him one closer to the Emperor's throne room to defeat him. So basically, yeah, well, he's focused, you can't defeat him, and then you have to flip him over to take him out. And there's Emperor Palpatine. He has some of your various ambition cards. R2-D2 on the Millennium Falcon, and stuff like that. So different things there. Alright, then what are our action cards, or our deck cards? So we have Vader's black here. We didn't look at Vader's miniature yet, did we? So of course, it's just Vader. Very Vader-esque. I love that his lightsaber hilt is built right into his armor. That's definitely cool. Love these miniatures. Yeah, the little mixture of colors, kind of odd. I know a lot of people have issues with that. It doesn't bother me that much. I wish they're kind of more solid colored, but it's alright. So we have Vader, TIE Fighters, some X-Wings, Death Star, his lightsaber, and a little chamber thing, which I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head. I have watched all these movies, and I've watched all the prequels. So here we have Sith Lord, so he's red, but he's a Sith Lord. So again, he's not affected by them other things, costs 0 ambition to play. Emperor Palpatine, play Emperor Palpatine to the throne room, pay 6 ambition to defeat Luke Skywalker. So you have to get him out, and then you have to get Luke out and defeat him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies of Imperial Stormtrooper. I think it's the most copies of any ally. Gain +1 strength for every other Imperial Stormtrooper in Darth Vader's sector. So they don't even care if they're together, they just need to be there. He's got 3 copies of the Death Troopers. When performing a Vanquish action, Death Troopers may be used to defeat a hero at their location or an adjacent location. The TIE Advanced X1 gain 2 ambition. And the Executioner. Reveal cards from your fate deck until you reveal a hero. Play that hero to any location. So he actually is going to summon some of these guys. 3 copies of Imperial Officers. Pay 1 to move a hero vehicle from your sector, then remove Imperial Officers. 2 copies of I Find Your Lack of Faith Disturbing. Remove an ally, gain ambition to go at ally strength +1. 2 copies of a condition. So this is the first time I think we only got 2 copies of a condition instead of 3. You are not a Jedi yet. During their turn, if another hero defeats a hero, you may play You Are Not a Jedi Yet. Flip Luke Skywalker to his conflicted sides. It's super powerful for what you need to do, but it's also hoping that another player defeats a hero. General Grievous needs to defeat heroes to get his lightsabers. Ventress needs to defeat guys to get complete their missions. Kylo and Gideon could avoid defeating guys for quite a long time. So if you're just playing like a 3-player game and it's just those other 2 guys, this card might not be as useful. So it's just something to remember. 2 copies of Join Us or Die. Move Luke 1 location towards the throne room. Your hate has made you powerful. Remove all fate cards in play, including vehicles from Darth Vader's sector. Release your anger. Move Darth Vader to Luke's location. Take 1 action at the location. Flip Luke to his conflicted side. You cannot use release your anger to perform fate actions. 2 copies of Father and Son. If Vader is at a non-vehicle location, move Luke to that location. Flip Luke to his conflicted side. We have 3 copies of this ambition. The Power of the Dark Side. During the turn, if another player spends 2 or more ambition, you may play the power of Dark Side to gain 2 ambitions. That's easy enough. And 3 copies of Friends in Trouble. All heroes in Darth Vader's sector get -1 strength. So his is kind of, I think, probably like maybe in the middle. His isn't super difficult to do, but it does take a little bit of planning. Because Luke's already out. Like, you have to go find Luke, then do it, might be a different story. So you have Obi-Wan Kenobi. Old Ben Kenobi? When Obi-Wan Kenobi is played, Darth Vader places his entire hand in his discard pile. Princess Leia. All of Darth Vader's ambition, actions, and abilities are increased by 1. Han Solo. Vader's cost to play allies is increased by 1 credit. Chewbacca. When performing Vanquish action to defeat Chewbacca, at least 3 allies must be used. Lando Calrissian. When Lando is played, remove an ally's location. R2-D2 may be played to engage hero vehicles. Vader cannot use that vehicle's abilities. We have the X-Wing. When X-Wing is played, flip Luke Skywalker to his focus side. And the Millennium Falcon. When a hero has been defeated, move them to the Millennium Falcon. Players targeting Vader with a fate action may play a hero from the Millennium Falcon to a new location instead of drawing from the fate deck. That's fun. Obi-Wan has taught you well. All heroes in Vader's sector gain 1 strength. More powerful than you can imagine. Darth Vader cannot perform ambition actions. Darth Vader must discard his entire hand during a discard action to remove more powerful than you can imagine. So that's a restriction. 2 copies of The Force is strong with this one. Shuffle the Fate discard pile back in the deck, then play the top card. If the top card is The Force is strong with this one, place it on the discard pile without effect. May the Force be with you. Loses 2 ambition. And finally, Son and Father, opposite of the other card. Move Luke 1 away from the throne room. Flip Luke to his focus side. Definitely fun there. Alright, so that is what we have for Star Wars Villainous. So we have 5 villains from 5 different eras. Are there more villains they can make? Definitely. I'm sure they can do it. Now, if they stick with the same structure as the other Villainous games, they usually use a smaller standalone box set which has 3 villains in it. And when they do, it's really nice because then you can pick up that set and just play those 3, or pick up 2 of the 3 packs and just play. The only exception they're doing that rule is, I guess, they're releasing a solo pack for Venom. I'm not really sure why they're doing it as a solo pack versus just adding it to a 3 packs. I thought the Sinister Six was supposed to be coming out, unless they decided to can that and they just thought Venom was too cool to not release. I don't know. But yeah, definitely a lot more. I'm sure there's other villains I can't even think of. Like, obviously you could have like Darth Maul, Boba Fett, or Jango Fett. You know, I don't know how much Jango really does. Jabba the Hutt could have something. Like, they don't need to all be grand things like kill this guy, take out that guy. Like, even some of the Disney ones were like, Prince John was like, collect gold. I know, like, Scarf is like, you have to defeat Mufasa, then defeat so many other heroes. Some of them were like, Hooks is like find Peter Pan and defeat him. Like, some of them had something like that. Like, Cruella de Vil is like, collect 100 Dalmatians. So you had to collect tokens. Steamboat Pete was to defeat certain missions he had that came up. So many different things. It's not always just directly you have to attack and defeat this and defeat that. They have other little things they can do. Like Grievous, just trying to collect lightsabers. Yes, he has to defeat guys, but, you know, that's, you know, kind of his goal, but it's not like Kylo doesn't really have to even fight anybody. Darth Vader honestly doesn't have to fight anyone other than Luke. He could avoid fighting heroes altogether. So it's kind of a neat aspect. So if you played the other Villainous games, you'll probably enjoy this as well. I think more so if you're a fan of Star Wars, because you'll get the references and know who all the characters are and all that. The same thing like the Disney one. You find probably more enjoyment if you've seen who the characters and who the villains are. it makes it more fun. You get more immersed in who they are. Like, if you're playing as Radigan from the Great Mouse Detective, you're like, I don't know who that is. Or if you're playing as Chernobyl from Sword in the Stone, again, you're playing some of them characters, you don't know who they are, versus like Jafar or Maleficent. It makes the game more fun, I think. But all the characters are definitely unique and interesting. The new mechanics, the ambition, the deep space just vehicles, and the restrictions are really cool. I can definitely see the restrictions maybe getting put into one of the other games. It would be kind of weird because every character here has a restriction, and the other games they wouldn't all have that. But that would be a cool update almost. Like, here's a pack of like cards for like all the villains. You could add one restriction into the Fate deck. It would give everyone one extra card, but if it was fair like that, that'd be kind of cool. Vehicles should be a lot harder to do for some of them games because not all of them have it. Or same with ambition, it's not the same idea, but it's definitely a cool concept. Alright, so if they release more Villainous, we'll definitely check it out and see you guys then. Bye!